Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Get Serious with James. I finally thought of a name for my podcast. I thought it was pretty fitting given that, some of my biggest inspirations are someone like Jim Rohn. And the philosophy of getting serious about our life is quite important to me because it is serious work. I mean, it's the only thing we have really. Um, and I find a lot of people, maybe tiptoe around this because it is such a scary thing to actually give a shit about your life. It's easier for someone else to tell us what to do, or maybe just live expectations from our parents, or maybe other family members, or just kind of follow the trend of what our friends are doing. Often we don't actually sit still and wonder why we do the things we do. A lot of it's habits that we may not have even have formed ourselves. It might be through observation, maybe someone we've observed do something, or again through friends. The people you surround yourself with often do influence you quite heavily. And that's very true. I mean, try hanging out with your friends and observe what they do, and then observe what you do. Where do they eat? How do they talk? What type of language do they use? What are their goals and ambitions? Maybe they're very similar to yours, which is why you're probably friends. Maybe they all go to uni and you go to uni as well. So this is all about getting serious. And like I said, I'm coming from a point of view of just general support, general advice. Probably a lot of it's, probably seems like a lot of wishy-washy rubbish compared to, as I said, some of those gurus who, say, here's 10 tips on what to do. But it's not so simple, because if everyone could do those 10 tips, then it would work out for everybody and we'd all be multimillionaires and we'd all be, driving Lamborghinis down the street. Everybody's different, which is why I'm just making something. And whether I help that one person through just 1 hour of roughness, or maybe I help them for a week, or maybe I help them for longer, then that's great. That's my mission done. So yeah, that's a bit of an intro. I'm going to start from the very basics, which is, where do we begin? Like, we want to change our life. Where do we begin? It's not so simple. It's not a matter of, like I said, reading 10 tips on the internet, throwing our phone in the bin, and then going and living a good life. It's actually probably quite the opposite, which is why a lot of people don't want to do it. It's a very, very slow process. And I just want to say that from the very start. Expect results, but don't expect fast results. The results are really depending on you, and also depending on a few other factors that may not be in your control. But at the end of the day, the majority of the results will come from you, and that takes sacrifice. So yeah, let's go from the start. I'll give you a little story, just a quick story, which is a friend I knew. Basically, I sat down with this person for, quite a long time. We actually spent 2 days together. It was a close friend of mine. And we did what I call an audit. So essentially we go through, what is he currently doing? Let's look at it realistically, which is, it can be a bit painful to look at something realistically. We actually sat down and said, okay, what are your objectives? And what are you actually doing towards those objectives? And, it's an awkward conversation to have. And, I was obviously a close friend to this person. So it wasn't too bad. But even when we do it to ourselves, it's an uncomfortable conversation to have with ourselves and say, hang on a minute. I want to, get fit, get, lean, mean, aggressive. And then we're going to eat burgers every day. I mean, I'm guilty of that. Absolutely. And then that hurts. And so sometimes we don't want to think about that, and we just want to go have fun and, not really think about it. So I think doing an audit is number one. So sit down, have an hour or two to yourself, whether that's you wake up a little earlier when no one can disturb you, or you lock yourself in your room and turn your phone off and just have a pen and paper with you, or whatever works. Do an audit. So where am I at? And when we're doing that, it's good to be as realistic as possible. You could go into as much detail or as little detail as possible, but it's good to be honest. And so, for example, you say, well, am I happy? If the answer is no, no way. Or I'm absolutely miserable. Why? Write it down. Why am I not happy? Okay, maybe it's someone causing you some trouble. Maybe it's a parent or a friend. And then, just keep writing this stuff down, what's working, what's not working. Is my job working? Am I earning enough money? Of course, most likely the answer is going to be no, I'm not. But, be realistic. So, okay, maybe you're 18, maybe you're 19, be realistic for, your age, whatever. But yeah, write down what's important to you. What do you want? And everyone's order is going to be different. So, you say, hey, I really want to be an artist. Am I producing enough work? Maybe you say, no, I'm doing it once a day. Is that enough? How long for? 20 minutes, an hour? Is that enough? This is the time to be harsh to yourself. Don't burn yourself into the ground, but be firm and be realistic. Don't blow, smoke up your butt, so to speak. You're not stupid. You can see maybe the guy next to you who also wants to be a comic artist, he's doing it 8 hours a day and you're doing it 1 hour a day. Write down, okay, I'm doing it 1 hour a day. Be real. Say, that's it. Is it enough? No, I need to eventually get to 8 hours. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe that's what I want. And remember, it's all about what you want. What will make you happy? Don't do what your parents want to do. Don't do what your friends want you to do. Do what you want to do. If you want to draw 1 hour a day and that's it, that's enough for you to be happy, do it. If you need to do 12 hours a day so you can work in the industry, then do that. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no right or wrong answer with this type of thing. So you can do that with all areas of your life, health, wealth, whatever you want, relationships. What's your expectations? What expectations are being met? What aren't being met? Is the partner with, who you're with, is that the right person? Can it improve? Can you improve? And that often is what this audit's all about, is what can you do? It's easy to blame everybody else and say, my parents treat me bad. My girlfriend doesn't treat me right. My friends are mean to me. But guess what? You're the one hanging out with those friends. You're the one dealing with those things. And in the case of parents, let's say you are able to leave, you need to make the sacrifice. You can't say, oh, my parents, they abuse me, but I choose to be here. If you need to get out of that situation, you need to make that decision. And that comes with sacrifice. Maybe they won't welcome you back ever again. But is it worth your health and success? That's up to you. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. So that's step number one, is a thorough audit of your life, kind of like a business, Look at it objectively, look at it personally, look at it different ways and say, okay, where am I at? Now, once we get that, where do we want to go? So that's the next step. Goal setting. You hear it so many times. People say goal setting, goal setting, goal setting. We all have dreams. If you walk past a homeless person down the street, sit down and talk to them, say, what do you want? They'll tell you what they want. Everybody's got a dream. So don't think that's something special, but it's necessary. Even that guy on the street, he needs a goal to keep him alive. He needs to know what he's doing, where is he going, and he might not ever get there. And that's what the next steps are going to be for, to make sure you get to where your goal is. So set some goals. I don't think they're that important. And the only reason I say that is because, as I just mentioned, everybody has goals. Ask anybody, they'll say, cool, of course I want a big house and a great car. Everybody knows what they want. People aren't stupid. But how do we get it? That's the most important part. So set a goal. It can be whatever you want. It could be like, okay, I want to lose 10 kilos. I want to, maybe get into a particular college. Set a goal. It's you already know what you want. Like, you'll answer, what you don't want. So trust me when I say you know what you want. And it'll be something that you bring up quickly and you bring up enthusiastically. So it's kind of like if you're having a conversation with a friend and they were like, okay, do you want burgers? Yeah, no, I don't want that. You already know that. So how about this? Yeah, okay, I could go for ice cream. Great, awesome. You answer the question pretty quick. So sitting down and being too pedantic about this wastes time. You could have the world's coolest goal. You go around, tell everybody, guys, I've got the coolest idea, the coolest goal, the biggest of dreams, but it's worth nothing if you're not heading towards them. It's just a great story to tell people, and it's kind of like a lie. You can walk around and say to everybody, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire, everybody, and everyone will say, oh, awesome, congratulations. But if you're not working towards it, what's the story for? It's just to make you feel good about yourself while you tell everybody. So I think just set a goal. You don't have to tell the world about it, but set it. Set whatever it is, whether it's, okay, I am completely at rock bottom here. I have no job, I have no friends, I have nothing. You know what? Let's just make one goal of waking up, having a good meal, and looking after myself just a little bit better. That's a great goal. That's perfect. That will get you started, and that will get you quite far, because that's foundational. You need that stuff. You need to be looking after yourself. You need to, as I said, it's all about happiness. So, yeah, let's go with goal setting. And again, don't make it too important. Just pick something and head towards it. And you'll change direction 50 times before you get there, but pick something and go for it. That's my advice. Um, I think, this is some of the obstacles that we face, and we all know the biggest one is fear. So, for example, with the goal setting, what happens if I pick the wrong goal? What happens if my parents are not happy? What happens if my friends laugh at me when I tell them my new goal of, being in the circus or something? Whatever it is, that's part of the sacrifice that needs to be made, and you need to stick to it, because guess what? End of the day, you'll be doing it all day long. They won't be. So your parents might judge you, but if you don't want to, be a doctor, and you're a doctor 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, yeah, okay, your parents are happy, but you're the one at the job. You're the one doing the hard work and being miserable if that's something you don't want to do. You're the one studying for 6 or 7 years, getting into debt. So you pick something you want to do. As I said, you check it against that audit, you pick the goals, and you go for it. And it comes with every single decision you make comes with a consequence. There's a saying: every yes you say is no to every other option possible. Think about that. So if you're a yes person and your parents say become a doctor, you say yes. You're saying no to every other option. Every other dream that you've had in terms of career, you've just said no to. So, not to put a lot of pressure on you, but do something that makes you happy, and you say yes, and you're confident and you're happy with your yes. And again, it's going to change as you go, but at least you made that choice, and it all comes down to your choice. As I said, get serious about your life. It's not anyone else's, it's yours. So that's what I want to say. Life's a bit scary in some ways. I obviously like games a lot, and I think games are kind of addictive for a reason, because we take away a bit of that fear. I like to, it's the time plus effort equals guaranteed result. We don't have that luxury, unfortunately, in the real world. So again, you might set all these goals, and you put the time and the effort into it, and the result isn't guaranteed, unfortunately. It's actually a variable result. It's, there's a bit of luck, a bit of magic in the air with that. But I can guarantee if you do put time and you do put effort, you will get results much better than not doing it. That's the ironic catch. If you don't do it, you get nothing. If you do it, you get something. So that's why it's best to get started, not focus on that goal too heavily, and just get started, break the fear barrier, go through it. If you feel fear, you're probably heading in the right direction, because comfortability means you're heading probably downhill. If you revert back to a child's form as an adult and say, okay, I just want everyone to look after me, feed me, clothe me, and just be happy and do nothing, you know what? You're probably not going to get very far, and you might be happy in the short term, but long term you pay the price, and the price is very severe, and you won't see it coming, because it's like the lobster in the pot. It's a slow cook temperature. You won't feel it cooking you until it's too late and you're trapped in the pot, and then next minute you're cooked. So it's not going to come with a lot of obvious warning signs. A lot of people will just say, okay, that's good, and pat you on the back, and probably, as I said, feed you, clothe you, pat you on the back, and, wish for the best, and you'll be happy, but you won't feel that temperature going up slowly, until it's too late. So yeah, unlike games, the time and effort does not equal guaranteed result, which is what makes games so fun, because we know if we get to the end of the level, we get to the next level. And then if we get the best armor in the game, we're going to be the best character, and we're going to defeat all the bad guys. Whatever it is, in most games, you get some sort of reward system. Maybe you get points. Every time you do something, you get points. And it's what makes it addictive, So, if you play for 1 hour, you'll get so many points. Those points equal reward. Rinse and repeat. Life is not like that. There is some structure, which we'll talk about, but it's not guaranteed. But do it anyway. Do it even if you absolutely dread it. There is complete reward on the other side of that fear barrier. As soon as you go through it, you'll turn around and you'll laugh. Unfortunately, then there comes another barrier and another, and it just keeps going, but you get stronger every time, which is why I say don't stop. Don't stop for anything. As soon as you feel something strike you down, stand up, keep walking. Les Brown has a great quote, which is, when you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And do that every time, because it'll happen constantly. I was just talking to my girlfriend about this today. I was saying, like, it's funny when you have one obstacle, maybe when you first get started, like some of you might be, and you get through those barriers and you think, wow, I'm doing it. Then a bigger tidal wave comes and you think, oh no, didn't I solve all those problems? But the problems just get different. I'm not going to say bigger, because you become bigger as well. You become bigger and stronger. They just become different. They become unknown. But then you learn how to fight them better and better, and you do get more efficient at it. Just like when you first started driving a car, you could barely concentrate on looking in the mirrors and accelerating. And now you're driving probably half asleep. You probably don't even think about it, It's almost natural, like you're part of the car. And that's kind of what will happen. You're not going to be thinking about braking and stopping and checking the mirrors every 2 seconds and making sure your seatbelt's on and making sure the car's in gear and changing gears. No, you just drive, You'll say, let's go to McDonald's, and that's it. You'll just drive. You won't even think about it. Most of the time, unfortunately, people are on their phones because they're so good at driving. They probably think, I can multitask. I mean, I don't recommend that ever to anybody, but you see my point. You get very efficient. And that's just like life. You get very efficient at doing stuff eventually once you get through this painful phase of growing, and then it's momentum. You get better and better and better. So wherever you're at is not where you'll stay. The seasons always change. You'll always grow. You'll always get better if you put the time and effort in. If you stop, that's it. It stops. So you've got to keep going. Don't freeze. Don't think about the fear. Just keep going through the fear. And those are some of those warnings that I want to mention. That's what I'm saying. Once we start the journey, it can actually be more scary. So, don't worry about starting. Just get started. Then once you're starting, you'll see all the obstacles come up. Just keep going. Just smash through them. Keep going. As I said, there's sacrifices to be made, whether that's your time, whether that's waking up early, whether it's staying up late, taking that second job, losing some of the friends that maybe aren't good for you, maybe even losing a partner who's not good for you, which is the most difficult thing to do, because we don't like change as humans. We love patterns. That's our brain. Think of anything we do. Think of our habits. We love patterns. We love waking up, having the same coffee, catching the same bus. We don't like when the bus doesn't work and we have to catch the train instead. We absolutely hate it. It ruins our whole day. So think about that in terms of growth. You're going to be breaking those patterns, and probably for a good reason. There's a reason why you're on here. There's a reason why you're listening. Because you need to change. We all need to change. I need to change. Everybody's in the same boat. So some of the practical advice I'm going to give you, and I'm not going to give you a lot because I think I've covered a lot already, is build your line of defense. Have a secret bag of strategies in your pocket that you're going to slowly collect over the weeks and months, starting from day one, which is, whatever advice you take from this, that can be your first secret cards in your pocket. And use those as often as you need. They're your lifeline. They're your secret strategy. That's your secret recipe. That's the thing that's going to get you through this. So I probably have hundreds of little things that I've picked up from other people, from observation, from listening to podcasts like this. I've picked up so many little strategies that from the outside, people probably don't even see. But when I walk into a situation that I'm not sure about, I might pull out one of those cards and it will be inside my head. I'll say, hey, James, remember what you listened to about a year ago? This is the time to think about that. And I still think about stuff that maybe was 10 years ago, the advice I heard. And it'll get me through the day. And it will get me through those tough hours, those tough final moments. Maybe something's going completely wrong. And those are the times that you'll use them. So build your defense, get started, and just, go from there. And I'm going to keep making these videos to assist you along the way. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And I'll speak to you next time, maybe in a few days. Thank you.